to this very important bill by my colleague MP for Kitui Central. And Madam Speaker, from the word go, I want to support the same for one simple reason, that one, we are 14 years late to aligning this act with the realities that are in our constitution. And Madam Speaker, you realize that when it comes to matters to do with Parliament, it becomes very difficult for us to actually debate or even legislate, because we are perceived by the public out there as if we are legislating for our own and to benefit ourselves. And it's a cardinal rule, Madam Speaker, even as you serve food at home, being a mother like you are, Madam Speaker, you do not serve everybody else and not serve yourself, so that then that you're not perceived to be selfish. And I think it is right for this Parliament to just act right. Despite the noise, people will always make noise whether we do the right thing, whatever it is that we do, there shall be some level of resistance from the voters, and because we run offices that are very competitive. Madam Speaker, I have taken keen interest just to look at how other arms of government deal with themselves. And I can tell you for sure, one of the arms of the government that we sit in, that is the legislature, is completely bastardized and does not seem really to be seen. It is not perceived by the public out there as if there is anything good that can come out of this house. We have had members of Parliament who have sacrificially served their constituents for many years in this house. But after they have left, they're living in desolate states. They cannot take care of themselves, because by the time you leave this house, three things will have happened. You'll have lost your wealth, you'll have lost your health, you'll have lost your friends. That being the case, Mr. Speaker, we must not lose ourselves. We may lose everything else, but never lose ourselves.
But unfortunately, due to the accident that he suffered in the course of that year, in the course of that time, he was not able to move this bill. But I want to thank the Honorable Makali for indeed doing a very important job for the members of Parliament. Madam Speaker, at the outset, I would like to make it very clear that this bill is not intended to add any benefits to the member of Parliament. And those who may want to write this story should read the memorandum and of the objects and reasons for this bill. The reason for this bill, Madam Speaker, is to align the Parliamentary Pension Act, Cap 196, with the new constitution. As you know, Madam Speaker, the Parliamentary Pension Act only makes reference to the National Assembly. It does not refer to the Senate. Yet we know, right now, as we speak, we have a bicameral house. So the Honorable Makali Mulu is seeking to align this bill with the 2010 Constitution. Madam Speaker, I want to speak about two very important things with regard to this bill. One, this bill is very important because it sets out in clear terms what the pension scheme would entail. As we align it to the new constitution, we are seeking to remove those areas which causes discrimination and which runs afoul to Article 27(4) of the Constitution, which says no person should be discriminated on the basis of anything. Madam Speaker, as you know, the Parliamentary Service Commission, which is our employer, runs a pension scheme for members of staff, which is domiciled within the Parliamentary Service Commission. Now, with regard to members of Parliament, the other section, the other half of the employees is run in the executive arm of government. Madam Speaker, we must sort out that anomaly. And I would like to request the Honorable Makali Mulu to come up with an amendment to domicile the members of Parliament parliamentary scheme within the Parliamentary Service Commission, so that we do not need to go to the executive to sort out our matters. All our matters should be resolved in-house here. Madam Speaker, you can imagine when we retired, and you know, Madam Speaker, I was retired in 2017. So when I was going to look for my gratuity, I was told from one floor to the other. I was told, go to floor number 7 in Treasury Building. Then I was told, no, not this one here. Go and look for somebody in floor number 12. So I go to floor number 12, and I was told, no, go to floor number 9. So, and you know, we are totally frustrated at that time. You've been thrown out, you are without money, and you're hoping that you can get something. Madam Speaker, if this scheme was domiciled in Parliament, in the Parliamentary Service Commission, I would just walk over to the offices, and we know it. Why should we be sent to a place where we have not worked? I'm not a member in the executive. The second thing that we must ensure that this bill provides is the question of the post-retirement medical scheme. Madam Speaker, we have very many schemes here. We have the mortgage scheme, we have the loan scheme, we have many schemes. Why don't we have this scheme, which is beneficial to members? And we are saying it's going to be contributory. We are not asking anyone to give us money. We just want a platform to be provided for us so that we can contribute this money. When we retire, we're able to enjoy medical facilities like we were doing before. And we know of many other institutions which do that, Madam Speaker. And finally, Madam Speaker, if you can give me just 1 minute with regard to this issue. Establishment of a pension scheme in this side to be done.
I'll give you 1 minute because you're a former commissioner.
Yes.
1 minute.
You know why I'm passionate about it being established within the Parliamentary Service Commission? When I was a CEO of CAK, at that time CCK, a very small institution with 130 members, we had our own pension scheme. And what we used to do is to invest money that was not immediately payable to those people who have retired in various interest-earning securities. Madam Speaker, as we speak, this money is paid to the consolidated fund. There is no investment. My money just remains the way it is. We want it to come to the Parliamentary Service Commission so that we can have an enhanced pension scheme as a result of good policies of investing our monies in good, for instance, maybe treasury bills when it is earning more interest, so that we can get more, Madam Speaker. As it is, we continue to get very little because our money is tied in the consolidated. I want to thank you and I support.
Thank you. Honorable Sirma.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to contribute. Madam Speaker, I have gone through these circles on pensions and being retired and coming back again. Madam Speaker, I want to pay tribute to Makalu Mulu for doing a good job. I also want to remember the first person who brought independence to this parliament. Madam Speaker, many of you do not know how much a member of parliament was. As an individual, in terms of, I have seen members whom I was here for 15 years, I went out for 10 years, and I have seen all. You can be happy when you are here, but once you are out, it is a problem. I also want to talk about the people who have made those members who are outside a bit comfortable. Dr. Njuguna, the former member of Gatanga, who created FOPA with other members. I also became a member, and I'm still a member, because everybody is either a former or current, or a prospective former member. So I want to tell you, it is time you made that decision now. And it is either you do it or you wait and see the vagaries of this world, how they will treat you. Madam Speaker, Parliamentary Service Commission, we have people of integrity who will be able to stand there. And Madam Speaker, I wish one time I should serve under that so that I am part of those people who have had the history of this house. And if we are able to get our money from ourselves and keep it and invest the way others' pensions invest. Even this government would not be going out of the country to borrow. They would be borrowing from the pension schemes within Kenya. And they run the government. I can assure you, it is time that Parliament stood up for itself and members of Parliament look at themselves on the eye and say, it is our time. Because nobody has any interest with you after you leave the gates of this house. I decided not to come to this house, even to visit a friend. When I was out, I decided it is the people who have decided I'm not in Parliament. So I did not come for 10 years. But finally, I am back. So I want to tell you, if you would be having such a principle like me, because I had no other business, the pension was out of Parliament. But if it is now in Parliament, I will be coming to look for my pension here if there is a problem. So I want to say, members of Parliament, think about yourself, think about those whom you leave behind, and look at those people who have retired. And I want to say, I hope, I have not read the whole bill, but Makalu, the former members of Parliament who are languishing in poverty should be taken care of and even given a send-off because they went with nothing. I saw a person who had 15 years here. He has nothing, even a car. Madam Speaker, I beg to support.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Makueni.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me an opportunity